Hey guys, I just wanted to do a little video on one of my favorite carpeting plants. Oops, sorry about the shaking. The Staurogyne repens, I believe is how you pronounce it. I usually just call it s.repens. It's a very compact and hardy plant that you keep right here in the foreground. That's why I call it a carpeting plant. It's usually found within the southern Amazon, stuff like that. Its actual nearest relative is the hygrophila, but of course this is actually a lot different. This gets to be more of a bushy structure. It could usually get, you know, it gets kind of tall for a carpeting plant, but you clip the tops off, you transplant it, and when you clip it, it'll actually I don't really know how to explain it. Oh, look at the pretty blue ram. But it'll actually trigger it to spread out more instead of growing up. As you can see with mine, it doesn't really do that so much. A lot of people, well, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about this, saying, oh, it could be done in low light, medium light, high light. In my personal experience, it does best within medium to high light with CO2. Currently, I haven't been running CO2 on my tank for a while. That's one of the reasons why I had the blackbeard algae outbreak, there for a while. As you can still see, there's some remnants of the blackbeard yet. But it's a really nice carpeting plant. It can usually withstand anywhere from, in my experience, 72 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit without a problem. But its root structure can become pretty immense. Matter of fact, I could tell the moment that it reached through my substrate into the dirt, because it just started taking off like wildfire, like you see here. Before, it was more or less like that over there. And when it comes to this plant, I recommend actually staying away from the tissue culture versions of it. Only because it takes quite a while to establish in your tank. The root structure is not there for you to properly plant it. Try to get trimmings off of people that you know, off of groups that you're a member of. It'll take off a lot quicker. Matter of fact, I actually started all this out with tissue culture, and I had this in my 40 breeder for the longest time before it turned into the red claw crab tank, and it just wasn't doing anything. It would just grow algae on it, it would stay short, it would lose its leaves. And trust me, I actually had the Phoenix planted 24/7 plus on my 40 breeder, and it wasn't doing anything. Now I have that same light on 125 gallon, which is a lot taller, and it's taking off like wildfire. It does need a nutrient-rich substrate, hence the reason why it's taking off when I have my dirty tank here. And it's just a really great plant. Once I get the CO2 and everything hooked up, it'll start becoming a little bit more bushy instead of growing up. I'm going to be switching out my light at some point too, which means that there's going to be more light hitting it with combination of CO2. It's going to, actually carpet instead of me having to trim it, transplant, trim, transplant. But yeah, I just wanted to do a short video on this plant. Like I said, one of my favorite carpeting plants. I also like Monte Carlo, but personally, I think I need to get a better light fixture before I can even attempt to do Monte Carlo right now. I know I can, it's just, I just like the s.repens too much. So, like I said, my recommendation, stay away from tissue culture, get trimmings off of people that you know. When you plant it, you'll have the plant take the bottom couple leaves off and then put it down into your substrate as close, like if you have a dirted tank, as close to the dirt as you can. If you don't have dirt and you have like fluorite or stratum or something like that, make sure that you have it down in there enough where something's not going to yank it out. I know my mystery snails, they'll come through and clean it and accidentally like pull it up out of the substrate, and then it'll float around for a while. So, alright guys, that's my S.repens look. Later, and keep swimming.